You know the dream, right? That perfect luxury home theater? You can just picture it. The giant screen, the incredible sound system that makes the floor vibrate, and those big, comfy recliners you can just sink into for hours. It's the ultimate escape. But what if I told you the biggest threat to that perfect escape isn't even in the room?
Imagine this. You're deep into a movie, right at that super quiet, intense moment, and then that happens. The drumming of rain, the howl of the wind, and just like that, the entire illusion is shattered. The worst part? Most people don't even realize this is a problem until it's way too late, after they've already spent a fortune on their setup.
So, while we're all obsessing over the flashy gear inside the room, what's the one thing that's quietly standing guard, protecting the magic from being totally ruined? What is the real unsung hero of your home cinema?
Yep, it's your roof. I know, it's not as sexy as a new 4K projector. But here's the thing, a properly designed roof isn't just sitting up there. It is the absolute foundation that lets all your other expensive equipment actually do its job.
Think about it for a second. We spend so much time and money on the walls, the speakers, the acoustic panels, but we totally forget about what is literally the single largest surface in the entire room. And all that time, that surface is working overtime, doing 3 incredibly critical jobs to protect your movie night.
All right, so let's break down this constant battle your roof is fighting. It's a war on 3 fronts. You've got outside noise, you've got sound leaking out, and you've got heat. If you get even one of these wrong, the whole experience just falls apart.
Okay, so job number 1. It has to block all that unwanted noise from the outside. Rain, traffic, wind, you name it. You want to be lost in the movie, not listening to a storm in your backyard. Job number 2, it's got to keep the sound inside. I mean, your family probably doesn't need to hear every single explosion from your late-night action movie marathon, right? And third, it has to manage the temperature, keeping you comfortable and, just as importantly, protecting all your sensitive electronics from frying.
So let's tackle the biggest enemy first. Noise. The key thing to understand here is that soundproofing isn't about finding one single magic material. No, it's about building a complete system. It's a sophisticated, layered defense where every single piece has a very specific job to do.
Here's the fundamental problem we're up against. A standard roof, especially a metal one, wasn't built for acoustics. In fact, it does the exact opposite of what you want. It acts like a giant drumhead. Rain doesn't just tap on it, it drums. Wind doesn't just blow over it, it creates this low hum that vibrates through the whole structure. It's basically an amplifier for outside noise.
So how in the world do you silence that drum? Well, you fight back with a multi-layered defense. You start with really dense materials to physically block airborne sound, like traffic. Then you add special acoustic underlays that literally soak up the vibrations from stuff like rain. Next, you use insulated panels to dampen sound even more. And finally, you add layers that stop those vibrations from traveling through the structure of your house. When you put them all together, they create this incredible silent shield.
Now let's talk about insulation, because this is where things get really interesting. See, most of us just think of insulation for keeping things warm or cool, but in a home theater, it plays a huge role in the quality of the sound you hear inside the room. This is a total game changer. See, if your ceiling is just a big, hard, reflective surface, the sound from your amazing speakers is just going to bounce right off it. This creates a ton of echo and reverberation, which makes the audio all muddy. All of a sudden, that crystal-clear dialogue you paid for sounds messy, and you can barely understand what anyone's saying. And this is where you get this amazing dual benefit. On one hand, you get perfect thermal control, a comfy, energy-efficient room that protects all your expensive gear. And on the other hand, you get acoustic control, much clearer dialogue and way less echo. It's literally one smart investment that fixes 2 massive problems at the same time.
Okay, last but not least, we've arrived at the trickiest part of the entire puzzle: ventilation. Home theaters are basically small rooms jam-packed with electronics that pump out a ton of heat. You have to get that hot air out. But the moment you do, you risk punching a hole in your beautiful acoustic shield. It's a really delicate balancing act.
I mean, this is the core challenge, isn't it? A simple vent is just an open door for sound to leak in and out. So how do you solve the very real problem of heat without creating a brand new problem with noise?
The answer is some really clever engineering. We're talking about passive ventilation systems that don't have any noisy fans. We're talking about specially insulated vents that are designed to let air pass through but block sound waves. You could even use reflective roofing materials that stop the roof from soaking up so much heat in the first place. It's all about carefully managing that airflow without ever compromising your soundproofing.
Okay, so let's bring it all home. When you get the soundproofing, the insulation, and the ventilation all working together in perfect harmony, something pretty magical happens. The whole system just becomes invisible. You completely forget about the outside world, you're not thinking about the temperature in the room, you're just there.
And that's really the key takeaway here. A high-performance roof isn't some luxury add-on you think about later. It is the foundational system that makes the whole experience possible. It's what finally unleashes the true potential of all that expensive AV gear you invested in.
And when it all comes together perfectly, this is what you get. You're not sitting in a room in your house anymore. You are completely and utterly transported. You just sink into the story. At the end of the day, that's the whole point, isn't it? Which really leaves us with one final and pretty important question for you to think about. When it comes to your own space, is your roof quietly working behind the scenes to make the magic, or could it be the one thing that's secretly breaking it?